Klondike Street down to one lane at the corner of Highland. So if you're coming in that way, it's going to be sluggish. They'll re-hot top it where they had the water leak last week. So Tom, you good to go?
Yeah.
I'll fix that in a minute. Yeah, this morning I was listening to the president on Air Force One. He went on for like 20, 25 minutes. So it threw me way off track. So now you got that. Putting your mics on. Put Tommy and Bobby on. Here we go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June 17th edition of the Dawn Patrol. Man, half the year's almost over. We got about 2 weeks to go to the 4th of July. Bob, how are you? Bob Hoey, my co-host, school committee candidate. He's out there campaigning. He's at my son's house. There's a sign up there now up on Chelmsford Street at my brother's house. So yeah, you're cranking away, buddy, huh?
Yeah, I had a big day Saturday. I went out and got myself about 50 signatures, maybe a little more, and put up about 20 signs. I don't rush with the signs,
Yeah.
Tom. It's early,
Yeah.
but I like to go out and put about 10 a week. I got
Sure.
100, that's all I'm putting out, because that costs you 900 nowadays,
Wow.
850 for 100 signs.
Wow.
So they're expensive, you know.
Yeah.
And people can pluck them pretty easy. But I've been to everybody that supported me the other 4 times. I went to
Sure.
those houses.
Sure.
I ended up at a cousin's house last night in Centerville. It was dark, so I wasn't going to start knocking on any more doors of people I know. I just don't knock a random door.
Right,
I
right.
go to the ones that have supported me, you know, Tom?
Right.
But, yeah, Donna Newell, she married Steve
Yeah.
Kowalski.
Yep.
A little bit older than I am, but I got them. Yeah, no, my cousin, I could say what I want, and I didn't realize they never watched this show, and I told them how to watch. They didn't realize Channel 8, just hit Channel 8 and your local TV will come up, you know? So I bet you later on they'll be on City Life. I'm bringing them up again because they'll be watching for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
I told them.
Now you need 150. You get 200 to be safe.
Yeah, you got to get 200,
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
just in case. You know,
Yeah.
maybe not that many, 175, you know,
Sure,
as long as
sure.
you're covering some bad signatures.
Yeah.
Or
I was
people
reading
that-
in the paper a lot have taken them out already. I mean, for school
Yeah.
committee and council. So be interesting.
That's what we
yeah.
want. There's a lot of people that don't have any competition either.
Right, right.
You know, which is it's not good.
Right.
I went to Danielle McFadden's party. I normally don't go to everybody's. Over
Oh, she had another party?
Yeah, over
Yeah.
the span of 25 years, I always tried to make Rita Merciers all the time, but there's a few I've missed of hers too. But there's some, like the Lowell Plan, Tom.
Yeah.
I would never go to the breakfast for the Lowell Plan.
They wouldn't probably let you in.
Well, yeah, and I would never go to the UMass Lowell Conference Center for the Irish breakfast. I just
Right,
wouldn't do it.
right.
Because I don't like being around them type of crowds. It's just political crowds.
Right,
And I know it's for good causes and all that stuff. I know what you do for the Salvation Army, and, you know, thank you for what you do. But it's just my style. I just don't like going to those type of parties, you know?
Right.
And I picked up a few people lately. I go to Eric Gitch's party, and the girl that's coming on later, Karen Cassella, I was a big fan of hers too. But
Yep.
I don't go to some parties to let them know, hey, I don't like the way you're doing your job. It's the way to say it to them, you know. I don't like what you're doing so far, and I hope you change. But
Who don't you like with the...
well, I'm not going to get into who I don't like, but I hope a few people on the city council definitely lose. They got some competition, a few of them, and there's a few I hope they lose. I mean, when I've been watching the city council and school committee, and I'd rather just talk about school committee, I couldn't believe they never, in the budget, didn't even question anything about special education. The biggest part of our budget, you don't hear anything.
Right,
I
right.
mean, come
Bobby,
on.
my spies told me that you're outside Markley last night? You were over-
Yeah, I stood at the gate at Barclay, and the only reason why I stopped because there was a captain working the gate. He was hired for a detail. My favorite captain, Mike Kilmartin. You ain't gonna find a guy better than him. The only other one I always like to say is, you remember Timmy Golden?
Yeah.
The best sergeant you could ever dream for. He's retired now. You lose these people, they're so hard to replace.
Right.
But Timmy Golden might be the best sergeant in prisons and being a policeman in the city of Lowell. He's just a guy that knows how to deal with a new recruit, let's say, or a rookie.
So did you see anybody?
Oh, yeah, they all come out. Some, Kim Scott, Rita Mercier, Eric Gitcher, Corey Robinson. There's a few I'm going to miss, but because the flow of cars were pretty quick at the end of it when the gate opened up. A good crowd. They had a good crowd. I don't know what happened inside because it's like...
No, they had a walk around. I asked to go. And
it's like James
I was
Bond.
declined.
If you ever
Who
been...
would you ask, John, the company or?
Yeah, I
Oh,
asked the
okay.
company.
If-
Phil Martin, he sent me a,
If, you know
follow
what?
me, Bill.
Yeah.
He's one of their lawyers. And so he sent me a nice little, hey, John, I'll try to get your media tour, but today it's just for the neighborhood.
I can see why. I grew up in that neighborhood, Tom, and that's like, if you ever been into NORAD out in Colorado Spring, that's built
No.
in the mountain.
Wow.
Like James Bond. Well, that's what this Markley place is like. It's unbelievable how
Yeah.
much money they spent on the inside. And
I
it's
did
secret.
speak to one of the activists, and we'll just say his name's Josh, and he said they didn't answer a lot of questions. When asked questions, Kim Scott was asking questions, they just ignored her questions.
Wow, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And that's in her district too,
As this
so.
rolls out, we'll see what's going on here.
Now, this will have to be approved by the council and other the committees, do you know?
I don't know what they want to do. I know they want to have all these fancy Tesla generators on their property so they
Right.
can run no matter what happens. And I can respect that. And
Yeah.
they're setting up for that. But the neighborhood's concerned with the noise
Right.
that come from these and the generators, they're gigantic generators. So,
Yeah.
There's like 2 votes in that neighborhood. No, I'm just saying, that's the way life is in Lowell.
Yeah.
That
a
district,
lot of the city councilors went, so when they come by, we'll find out what.
Paul
That's
at the end,
like
I missed his name. I seen him come out the gate.
Was the mayor there?
What I enjoyed, I didn't see the mayor,
Oh.
but I don't know if he was there or not. But what I enjoyed the most is I was wearing my Eric Gitcher hat, and the people that were coming out, the councilors,
Yeah.
a few of them that I've talked to for years didn't even look at me. And others said hi to me, Corey Robinson said hi, Paul at the end, but some of the other ones, Kim Scott said hi to me, but some of the other ones got their head turned because they're mad at me, and good luck to you if you're mad at me.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, all I care about and all I hear in my neighborhood is they don't want their property taxes going up all the time. That's all I'm hearing. I'm
Yeah.
hearing nothing about schools.
Yep.
Nothing, and I'm running for the school committee.
Yeah.
You kidding me? So it's going to be quite the summer. Enjoy
Yeah.
your summer, because whoever outworks the other person in District 3, my district, is going to win. And my candidate, I know, is going to knock a lot of doors. He wants this job, and he wants it bad. You better outwork him.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy race, already is. I love saying it because this is my show, John's show, but I feel like on Tuesdays.
It's your show, Bobby.
Well, this is the way I look at this, Tom. We're the ones that beat me and you, and if we have Ned here, we're unbeatable.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we lost Ned,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So, for now, Ned's doing okay,
Yeah.
but,
Still needs prayers.
yes, he does.
Every day.
Or a phone call. I like calling him. It's nice to get him on the phone, But we have some big things coming up in this election, especially District 3. It's, and right now,
Now, you said Connie Martin pulled papers, or she's
I
gonna
seen
pull
Connie's name in it, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we had a forum up at Lowell Catholic.
Yeah.
We all the candidates got together. I thought Connie was, her name was on the list, but she didn't show up for that
Okay.
one,
Well, did
And
she
and
pull
if Connie's
papers?
oh yeah, she pulled papers. I think she pulled papers. I sent pictures of everything to you.
There was something in the paper there about who pulled papers.
Well, I hope she did, because we
Yeah.
need the competition. We don't just want Danielle McFadden and myself, because that's how many we need.
Was that the one we
You
have the
pick
summer
two.
off either?
Yeah, but I'm hoping they run,
Yeah.
because there's a lot to be said. If not so much for me with Connie Martin, because I'll say it every time I'm sitting on TV or in a show. Connie and I don't see eye to eye on any issue. But the thing about Connie and I, we can work together. The next day she forgets about any argument you might have, if you want to call it an argument. But it was the other one, I'll say that, I won't say the name. That's the one I would be really questioning quite a bit. and I already heard she might not be in the race, and I don't blame her. Why do you want to take my abuse?
Right.
You know? That's how I feel, though. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, I've been watching this for years. I'm not brand new at this, Tom. I won 4 times. I won the school seat. Why? Don't ask me why. I think I know the answer. I've always said it. The teachers are underpaid.
Right.
You know, I sit here with some of the greatest about schools. I think Lee Gitch is really good, especially at the Voc.
Sure,
Great little
sure.
technical high school. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, they'll blame Desi. Everybody that's running, oh, Desi is the reason why we have this, or it's our administration is the reason, or
Right.
the teachers are the reason. By
Right.
the way, I go, listen, how about parents? You think parents could be the reason? I'm telling you, that's who the problem is.
Sure,
If
sure.
you have a problem child, you call in that parent, guess what, Tom? That parent's worse than a child. It's just the way it is, and how we fix that, I don't know, but I'd start at the high school and just do it like a little dress code.
Right, right.
Like Brian Martin, he did that. He came in to run our high school, the first thing he did, even with teachers. He didn't want no more jeans, you know, he wants you in a sport coat, he wants you in a tie. And that's just a little thing. They
Yep.
tried to keep us at Concord Prison in a uniform. My friends would come in with, this is how strong our union was, they'd wear Bruin shirts.
Right, right.
You're supposed to have a uniform on.
Yeah.
They couldn't get us in a uniform. You gotta do it.
So according to this morning's Little Sun,
Yeah.
as of Thursday, at-large candidates Eric Gitchia, Rita Mercia, and Vesna Noon and Sixto DeJesus have pulled papers. Dan Rourke pulled papers. Corey Robinson in District 3, Corey Belanger, Dan Finn, Aaron Gendron, and Belinda Duran. The backs, Wayne Janess in District 4, Wayne Janess and Sean McDonough. District 5, only Kim Scott. District 6, only Kari Chow. District 7, Paul Rethiem, Sidney Liang, and Jose Cevedes. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. The Highlands District 8, John Dakota and Challenger Francisco Maldonado. School committee right now, it's only you and, this was as of last Thursday, you and Danielle. So and right now, it looks like all the district candidates are unopposed. So,
Yeah, well, and we'd be unopposed too,
Yeah.
which isn't good,
Yeah.
because it's almost like the last election.
Right,
Connie and Jackie are the only two.
right.
You know, there's no competition, nothing new. But there's a few city council challenges are going to be pretty good. I think so far. We had one of them on here. His nickname Cisco,
Yeah,
the retired policeman. What I really liked, he was calling it top heavy. And he had 3, well, you know, he's worked there, 29 years, I think it was, but $680,000 for 3 positions. And he said the captains that we have some good captains too. I recently met a new female captain, Marisol Nabriga.
yeah,
Yeah, really impressed by her.
Yeah, I know. I went to school with her, high school with her mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I stood with my buddy, Mike Kilmartin in front of, is it Markley's? Is that
Yeah,
how you say it?
Markley,
Markley's.
I don't know how you say it, yeah.
So that captain, I finally found out what they made, because a lot of times on this show, I've said to people, you know, I could make $75 watching a pothole, and we can't even give a tutor, a 32-year teacher, $40. We do give them $40 now an hour, but they were giving them 30. You know what I
Yep,
mean? And
yep.
yet someone can watch a pothole and make 70, because that's what the figure is, everybody. Even the captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and the regular policemen, they all get $70 an hour on that detail. And that, well, yeah, but Mr. Hoey, we don't have to pay that. You know, well, you do pay that.
Right.
You know, yeah, I know National Grid maybe covers the bill, but then they just go up on us. That's how they get it, right?
That's how you get, yeah,
So-
exactly.
And what's really funny, Tom, about this election for me, visiting people, I visit them with a hat on, and the hat's Eric Gitchia. And I had one person.
Why don't you think you have a Bob Hoey sign? I mean, they're going to think you're campaigning for
no,
him.
I'm going to houses that voted for me 4 times
Right,
and had a
right.
sign.
They know you, yeah.
They know me, you
Yeah.
know? Somewhere, but one of them said to me, "You're wearing that hat?" I goes, "Bet your life I'm wearing that hat." And his exact words were, "When I hear him on TV, I change the channel."
Well,
That's
see,
what the guy said to me.
Everybody's different. You know,
And I
everybody-
said to me, "Do you watch all the city council meetings?" He didn't answer. He says, no, not really. I don't really watch none of them. I says, oh, really? I says, because I'm going to tell you something. And then the guy goes, well, let me tell you something. He's a know-it-all.
Yeah.
And I goes, listen, he does know it all about municipal government, everything from A to Z. You know why I like
He's not
him?
really a no, he does his
No,
homework.
listen, let me
He
just
does
say
his
what I want to
homework.
finish, Tom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
A to Z, I said, he knows everything about he could be a city manager basically anywhere he wanted to be, but he loves his job at the Voc, maintaining the Voc property, Greater Lowell Technical High School's property. But what
Yep.
people don't see him do, which I've been witnessing, just like I say it all the time with Timmy Fallon, or a Tom Cassidy, or a Lee Gitchie, I can say all these names, Freddie Bahu, they know how to treat kids.
Right.
Eric's a master at working with a special ed kid. He's done it in my neighborhood for me,
Right.
just to teach a kid how to hit a baseball. So you don't even see that side of him, and that's why I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. He's got me working as hard for him, and I'm trying to do the same type of job for Danny Finn, because that kid will not, he's not a kid. He's a captain at the Barica House of Correction. He will not be led around by his nostrils.
So
And
he'll
a
be
lot
another-
of city,
he'll be- is-
a
he'll be
lot
another
of city
Eric?
councilors are being led around by certain people.
Will he be another Eric or around that same, nobody will be another Eric.
No, he won't be nothing like, I'm gonna tell you
We'll
what.
ask questions.
I know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
The best he can do for District 3 where I live. That's what I know he's gonna do. He might not be someone like Eric, that's covering the whole city.
Yeah.
Eric's done more for the Riley School than anybody that I've ever seen in my life. Me badgering him, hey, we need heat. Can you get us boilers? It's in November. Yeah, the boilers were in a few days later. No drinking water at the Riley. My third grade granddaughter's in that school, and there's no drinking water.
Yeah.
It just makes me bug him.
Yeah.
And he's responded to everything. Gym floor coming to the Riley School this year, new gym floor.
Wow.
And that wasn't my idea, but Eric was the leader of getting that done.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, you might not like him for certain reasons. I think there's a group of people, I've said it 100 times, that want him out. They're working just as hard. That's why I'm working as hard as I am. Because I know there's a group that he's a pain. They don't want him around.
Well, it's
Well,
almost
this
like-
taxpayer wants him around, I'll tell you that.
I'm seeing the same thing in Draco with Josh Taylor. He's not afraid to ask the tough questions. He sticks by what he says. He does his homework like Eric does. And I'm starting to see it, and I'm starting to see it when I watch the selectmen's meetings, that they kind of, if he brings up something, if he doesn't back down, just like Eric does it, you know?
Yeah, they're different
yeah.
characters,
Yeah.
but they
there's
do a
not too
great
many-
job,
There's
yeah.
not too many out there that will always keep asking the tough questions, you know?
Yeah.
So-
But we could learn a lot off the Greater Lowell Technical High School, just off those 5 gentlemen that I mentioned, on the way they treat the children.
Yeah.
Because at Lowell High, that's the problem. You got a couple of housemasters that do a tremendous job and always have, and then you got a couple that are useless to me. And we got to fix that. The high school has to be a big focus, because our elementary, to me, when you don't have to pay to come to our elementary schools, doesn't cost you thousands, it's free. We do a pretty good job.
From the audience, will Finn come to City Life?
If you ask Finn, I didn't ask Finn to come to City Life. Real good. I'll get him to
No
come.
response?
Do you want him to come?
Yeah,
Do you want him to come?
yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Quite bluntly, I want them all to.
How about, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. You do get Corey. You get Corey to come. And you got Linda Duran to come.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I follow this show. I follow it all
Danielle
the time.
told me she'd come on.
Cliff's trying to get her to come Friday.
Who's that?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Getting,
Belinda.
oh, okay. Danielle's told me she wants to come on. It's Danielle McFadden.
Yeah, she'll come
Yeah.
on. She'll
Yeah.
come on too. But sometimes I wouldn't, like, if I was the city manager, you think I'd want to come on this show and listen to John? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be truthful. John wants to answer, I think the biggest thing he's talked about, and I seen it yesterday, parking. It's such a major issue. The parking department, if I was on the city council, I would tip that upside down. I was sitting in Elliott's. I shouldn't be saying this because my wife will find out when I'm eating on the side. But I was sitting at Elliott's. I got 2 hot dogs all around, right? Make sure the onions are in there. They were tremendous, too. And I'm just sitting at the window in a meeting, and I'm watching a lot of mental health stuff and drug addicts flying by me back and forth. I'm like, wow, what's going on with my city here? And then I seen some woman coming around the corner, dragging her little 2-year-old with a piece of white paper in her hand, and one of the parking people hitting her up, giving her the ticket, and she said, hey, I'm here. And I just kept working, wouldn't even listen to her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is a poor city. When we start to forget that, when you see someone, how about the other people walking by? They're probably, you know, I watch everything. You wouldn't believe the cars that come into Lowell and sell $5 this bags of this and $1 for a beer, $1 for cigarettes. They're wiping us out. We're not doing it. The cops, I love the Lowell Police Department, but we could do more on the pushes. There's no doubt about it. The dealers, we could do more. Good morning. The schools get everything they want and need and have the worst results for money spent per student. Who's responsible for that? Okay, parents, Jay. That's who's responsible for all our problems. It's the parents. Go in a classroom. I do. Haven't been in them for years because they put a motion in to stop me from visiting schools. But since we have Liam Skinner, he's the new superintendent, if you don't know who it is, and he hired a lady named Wendy Roberge. I believe that's her maiden name, or married name. She was the principal at the Pine School, which I can throw a rock and hit from my house. And when I say the principal, she was a principal. I would never want to work for her. She was tough. But my granddaughter went to that school. 11 kids were sent from her school to Lowell High and Latin Lyceum. All 11 are accomplished people today. All right, but your last 1,000 students at Lowell High out of the 3,200, some of them can't even tell time anymore without looking at their phone. And that's just one example. You're right, our test scores are bad. But it's more than that. We're just a conveyor belt from what they did to me is happening to about 1,200 kids. They just kept passing me along. I couldn't read in the 3rd grade, I couldn't read in the 4th grade, couldn't read in the 5th grade. What happened as I moved up? I was the best class clown you ever met. And across the street, they tried to straighten me out. You know, the ruler, the pointer on the back of the hands, the rulers on this side, but that's in the Wayback Machine. We can't do that no more. But I'm going to tell you, the classrooms, as far as I'm concerned, the teachers that talk to me, and they do talk to me, it's out of control. We send them down to the office, no matter what, nothing happens.
Right.
We got to sit together and say, you know what, when a kid's that bad, that's why to me, let me go back a little bit. Every school would have one classroom, and I'd call it Department 9. That's where we sent all the bad inmates to Department 9 till you got squared away. It's a lockup. But I would open a classroom, have special teachers in there, and those children wouldn't be able to play basketball. You're in there until you know how to act with the rest of those people. But we don't need alternative schools. Here's where we can save millions. Every school should handle their own problem. I've been saying this for years. But I'm going to stick with special education and what we're feeding our children as soon as I get in. Because that's, to me, and busing, top 3 issues to me, special ed, food, and busing. We can save millions, and if you want to add alternative schools, put that forth. Because we got rid of the Cardinal O'Connor School, that was an alternative school, and we sent those children back, Dr. Kafawi did, sent them back to the Sullivan, where they came from, a school that's been troubled. We even had a teacher that was kicked in the head and died up at that school years ago, but people forget all those things. The staff, don't blame the staff, not when I'm around. I'm just telling you, don't blame teachers.
Right.
Don't blame paras. I see paras being a little miserable because of what we pay them. I'm thinking maybe about $22 an hour. Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable what a para does.
Who fixes this problem? Is it the superintendent? Is it the school committee?
School committee. You write the policy, you call the shots, get 4 votes.
Who writes the budget? The manager, not the manager. Who writes the budget? The superintendent and his staff, right?
Right, and all you need to write a budget, really, to write the budget, you would need superintendent and Jim Hall.
Yeah.
The guy that negotiates all our contracts and saved this city millions over the years. I'm not going to get into that either, but because if you do, you're into too many issues, you know?
Right.
But Jackie Doherty knows what she'd be hearing right now. All she talked about was, every week I watched her, HR this and HR that, and HR this and HR that. Constantly. It's because they want the power of getting a job for their friends. And Jim Hall he's a really good lawyer. You know? Thank God.
Mr. Bomil, can you read these? And I gotta put one more when you're done with these.
I agree. Parenting is atrocious, but the schools have to bear some of the responsibility. Kids just don't start acting up. Good
No.
morning. The schools get everything they want. You already read that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Corey's been in 2 times. Belinda's been 1 time. People park illegally all the time. Kudos to the parking department. They're not parking on both sides of Elm Street anymore.
Yeah,
DW.
yeah. That's-
Last one.
Respectfully, there have been drugs and bad behavior in that area for decades. Move the shelter.
Yeah, well, I want to stay on the schools when he says that to me. There's no doubt about it, but low, high, don't forget, you got 4 principals inside that school. One school has 4 different principals, and they're called houses, right? And then...
Housemasters.
Yeah, well, no, you don't say masters. Don't say that word. Come on,
gee.
Tom, watch out what you say.
I was there, I think,
Yeah.
and you were there probably.
But let's say you have 2 bad ones that can't do the job. It disrupts the whole school. If one house makes sure you have your ID on you, and another house doesn't. It's just, they tried to change, I'm glad you said this, we brought this up, the person on TV, because they tried to change.
Mr.
Go ahead, John.
Bobby, why can't we say masters? There's a master's degree. Why can't we say masters?
I don't know, I think that falls in that DEI stuff. I'm not sure why we can't.
A DEI just means Asians need not apply. That's all DEI means to me.
You know,
Was it me? DEI's, what?
Asians need not apply.
Oh,
Because we got a ton of Asians in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. DEI programs supported by all the city councilors. The Asians aren't included in that. You go in City Hall, where are the Asian employees?
yeah. You know,
yeah, I don't know.
Welcome to Lowell, we
I haven't
hire
been
our
to city-
friends.
Yeah.
yeah, well, right off the bat, when Jim Hall took over the HR office, since you said that, right away he hired 2 Asian girls.
Smart guy.
Right away, that's what he did. First thing I seen him do.
Hire the best qualified, that's
But
what
I
you
want to
should do.
just,
When you think of that, when I'm in Town Hall, and I think we have, it's mostly white. I think we have 1 Asian now in Town Hall. Yeah.
I want to go back to Jay a little bit because I like his text when he sends them in.
Go ahead, buddy.
But the high school, Tom, like I said, you have 4 principals inside it. Now, you learn a lot when you leave the school committee for a little while, but when you got 7 years' experience and you go back, you say, you know, I remember Joe Boyd trying to get rid of all the housemasters. I'll say housemasters, because there was housemasters at the time. And I thought it was a good idea. Take all 4 of them down, and they can reapply for the job, but get, interview for 4 new housemasters. Now that I've been gone for years, you find out through the grapevine, they were just trying to get rid of 1. And the one I like. They were trying to get rid of a female. I'll say that because there was only a couple of females around at the time. They were trying to get rid of her. Now, I learned this 2 years afterwards. That's crazy to go after why can't you go after a certain individual? You don't have to take them all down. And the one you were trying to take down is the one I support the most. Okay, because I'm a big fan. You've heard me say it 100 times. Mrs. Keeley, that name,
Yeah.
she won a couple of $100,000 against the city.
Yep.
She was overlooked and abused. Dr. Helen Flanagan, talk about she got destroyed worse than Dr. Kafawi did.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Another great person that, yeah.
Bobby, you want to read this one?
Because of the woke, disgusting media, comrade, that's why you can't say housemasters, Jay. Yeah, the media does help all those issues, but again, test scores are one thing, and you're right, we are bad. We're 351 cities, we probably rank around
Well, Bobby,
335.
if you get on the school committee,
Yeah,
should say when you get on the school committee, I'm going to encourage you to tell the superintendent who's the highest scoring MCAS in the state with over 100,000 population. So if it's Peabody, let's go, what are they doing right that we're doing left?
You know, John, if
We
you
don't have
look,
to reinvent the wheel. I mean, there's somebody out there that's doing well at educating their kids, and let's just go copy those people that are doing great.
you know
Is
what you-
MCAS
what he
gone
just
yet?
said?
Is MCAS gone? Was voted up?
MCAS is gone, but you can look up 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
but,
all right,
you know,
okay, so-
I would say this to that, and I don't know the numbers, but if we looked at the towns that are the same size as us, 115,000, 120,000, if we looked at those, I would say we might rank near the top. The top of bad.
Oh, Paul
But tell-
George is, in his heyday, Paul, and I like Paul, nice guy. He would come here and he would brag, Massachusetts is #1 in the country.
Who's this, Paul who?
Paul George is.
Oh.
And I'd say, Paul, what's Lowell? Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you can laugh at Paul George's, but when it comes to.
I like Paul, but he knew.
He knows how to talk for teachers. I gotta admit that. And I know I was always an easy vote for him because all I ever preached was teachers are underpaid. And I'm going back 25 years ago, actually 28 years ago, preaching they're underpaid. And now they're decently paid. Not overpaid, decently paid.
Well, there again, Bobby, why don't we look at, what are we paying Nashua teachers? What are the Nashua teachers?
I don't really talk about that, New Hampshire. I know you have a place up there. I don't like New Hampshire, so I don't want to say.
They don't,
I don't like New
there's
Hampshire.
gonna be "We hate Hoey" signs at the border.
No, my daughter-in-law's sister 2 years ago got murdered in Nashua. I don't like it. She got executed, and it's still trying to have appeals to get the guy out. I mean, come on. I don't like Nashua. They talk about Lowell. I don't like Nashua. I'm not a fan.
Well, I have family that lives in Nashua, they love it.
Beautiful.
Cops are great, the local government's great. There's no income tax.
What I like
No
about
sales
Lowell,
tax.
I feel safe in Lowell because we do have good police. That's one thing I'll say. And we have grammar school in Lowell. Come on, go look at the whole system. Our problem, that's my diabetes buzz. I'm sorry if you can hear
Sorry.
that. But elementary school, we're fine. We're fine. We need to improve it more and more as much as you can, but pretty good schools. I know my granddaughter, but there's an issue in her grade. I've been watching it. I went on a bus trip, I told you. 3rd grade bus trip to Foxborough Stadium, Gillette Stadium. I couldn't believe how they were wrestling and banging each other off the chairs, but I never drove in a bus as a kid, so I don't know if I would have been doing the same thing. But I see more girls smashing the other girl's head off the cushions.
Holy cow.
Teachers sitting behind the bus driver that's all strapped in with beautiful straps on 128. We're driving down, and I'm thinking, oh boy, if we ever get in an accident, I'm in quite the spot, Tom.
Tommy, I know, Tom, Bob, you agree this one.
When you wake up and realize Mass is a cesspool of nepotism, then things will change. Well, nepotism, I actually worked in the prison system where I worked. Nepotism was a good thing. Back before, they'd just walk you in, your uncle would bring you, this is what happened to me, Concord Prison, they closed down because we were the strongest union in the state, but they'd walk me in, 2 weeks, work in the job and see if you like it. Then you say you like it, they send you to the academy, and now you are a prison guard. That's nepotism. But that's what happened back in 1979, and then I went in at 1980. There's nepotism. Sometimes it works, believe it or not, in that type of job. You better start maybe thinking about nepotism with police because you can't find them. Look at what they did in the prisons. They dropped the age to be a prison guard to 19. Those poor kids will be getting eaten up for breakfast, I'm telling you. They should have kept it at 21. 19, you're too young still. Sorry, to be a prison guard, too young.
Oh, they dropped it
That's
to
just
19.
someone that worked there for 20 years. I don't know much about prisons, but I do know what a strong union is because I felt like I was the strongest member in the crowd. And that's why they closed Concord Prison. Now they use it for illegal aliens. They'll use it for something, housing, low-income housing. We don't want to incarcerate people anymore. What, are you kidding me?
Is there any talk about the 2 courthouses being used still for housing or something? When I was away last week, I heard something.
Downtown, the city talk around town is downtown courthouse. The city's going to likely grab that because it has a big parking lot.
All right.
So the city is hands off the Superior Courthouse because the to bring that building up to today's standards with handicap ramps and all the other good stuff, it's too cost prohibitive to do that.
Okay.
So they're probably going to let the state hang on to that. But I'm telling whoever listened, the state's got to, I would tell the state, look, you got a year to get that thing online. And if nobody's picked up on that Superior Courthouse in a year, tear it down.
Right. Right.
Let's not turn it into another Smith Baker Center where it sits here for, I think it's 20 years. The Smith Baker's been sitting empty for 20 years. Oh, we're going to fix it. Sorry. Tear it down.
You know, go back to parking just for a minute. I think it was Jay that said something about parking. And what I'm saying about it, you look at these things. Look at like the graduations recently at UMass Lowell. I don't know how many hundreds of cars they can park right next to the place, but $20 a car. And you're giving the $20 to a young person, bunch of young persons collecting the money. I don't know who gets that money. I would imagine $20, hold on.
Wow.
And that money most likely goes to UMass Lowell, I would think. But I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. And everywhere else you go to park, it's going to charge you more because they have something going on. Been very greedy about the parking as far as I'm concerned. You want downtown to get better. You can't just jump on every car. Yeah, there's cars around the city right on your street. Go look out your house. You have new cars parking near your house. Why? Because parking spots. Boston, $750,000 for one spot I seen this year. Last year, a couple of years ago, it was $500,000 for one spot.
You do own it a
That's
year,
enough.
or you own that for life?
Own it for life,
Oh,
but
okay.
$750,000
Yeah, geez.
for a parking spot. I forget the name of the street, and it's in a garage, but you got one spot for life, $750,000. If you got
Plus you
that,
got to pay taxes on that spot.
yeah. And parking is an issue everywhere. But in Lowell, we got a lot of building going on. I see it everywhere. A lot of building, and that buildings bring. Last night, you'll like this, Tom. You're from Centerville, I think, originally, maybe.
No, Highlands. Actually,
okay.
down here originally, then I went to the Highlands. I was down at South End with Johnny here, and I went up to the Highlands in '67.
Before I went to my cousin Donna's house, I went to Bob Gignak's house, someone I was on the school committee with. And I just drove down the street, Llewellyn Street. It's an unbelievable street. The hill is as steep as you can find. And behind his house, they tore down they're building mega houses there, right on Christian Hill.
Right.
That street. I drove by that, and those houses, it's almost like they undermined it. They took so much earth away from Llewellyn Street. I'm saying, wow, they could have major issues here over time, you know? But I didn't get Gignak's signature, but I'll chase him down. He
You mean he wasn't home?
No, I didn't see his car in the driveway,
I see.
so
Yeah.
I didn't want to bother the house. Maybe the wife was alone or something like that, but I'll get his signature.
Yeah.
I still communicate with him now and then. He works at I think they got the highest scores in the city, on Jackson Street.
Charter School, okay.
The one up near the Rourke Bridge
Yeah.
doesn't do well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't do well over the years. But
Now, did I read something that they're going to be,
Tell me you want to do these two?
the first thing this area needs is another trade school.
no doubt,
In other words, parking in Lowell is a bargain.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. You go park in a regular garage, it take you 2 hours to get out of the garage. So you're better off spending the $20, believe it or not, because you'll go through $20 worth of aggravation.
Yeah.
I think it was John that said it, the word greed, the parking.
Greedy.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that.
Huh. So now you were talking about parties earlier. Do you have anything scheduled? You're going to have
No, I'm gonna have one on
Kilkenny's?
Yeah, I'm gonna have one at Kilkenny. Excuse me for a minute. Go ahead, Dor.
In summer or fall, or when do you think?
I'll do it in July sometime,
All right,
a
all right.
Thursday when he's dead.
Sure, let me
Don't
know.
have everybody's at Seabrook.
Yeah.
I'll try to get as many people as I can. I'm thinking about maybe getting Paul Belay. It matters. Hit Paul Belay and Chris Brunel.
Yeah.
I love those two guys
Yeah.
together. And have a
Yeah.
little music at Kilkenny's pub, yeah.
Sure.
And the parties, I don't have too many parties. I had a breakfast for kids one time at the Knickerbocker Club.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. and
That's
when
different.
And I never raised money, especially when it was running for city council.
Yeah.
you need about 10 grand to win that seat, no matter
Oh,
who
probably
you
even
are.
better, yeah.
Yeah,
Citywide?
probably better.
Yeah.
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 You
I
need
hate to
some-
think money's going to be spent over there in District 3. I mean, wow.
I think the
4 good candidates.
yeah, you can spend a fortune. I'm just feeling a little cocky because I know the guy I'm working for is knocking doors whenever he can, during the day, at nighttime. He told me he was going to do that, and he's already started to do that. And I think the more people that meet you is an advantage to you. If you're not doing that, don't rely on like what I do. I just go hold signs on the corner.
Right.
You got to meet people, and I've met a lot of people in my life. If they don't like you, Tom, come on, you know what's going on.
So that's a 4-person race that goes down to 2 in the
Yeah.
primary? Okay, all right.
But if they don't like you, they're not going to vote for you, right?
Oh, no.
They're not going to vote for you
Yeah.
unless you got them a job.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm hoping they clean the clock with a few people. They've been around too long. And they can get mad at me if they want, but that's the way I feel. You wanted to redistrict the place, you did. You put me in Belvedere, you probably shouldn't have. But that's where I am. And how many times have I sat here in front of you and called it the swamp?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I said, my friend Tom's in the swamp now. It bounces around. It's like the school system. Once it was all Irish, run by the Irish, then it's run by the Greeks.
Oh.
It's just the way Lowell has been, Now it's run by, to me, a couple of nonprofits.
Yeah.
That's who's got too much influence in our school system. Put your name on the ballot. Put your name on the ballot. Don't do it the way you guys do it.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Sure. Crazy is right. Yeah.
So, but I'm having fun this time. I've lost my closest ally, my wife. She's really busy in life, trying to help her own mother. And she
She's
told
up
me,
there in age, huh?
yeah,
Your mother-in-law?
97.
Wow.
But my wife says I'm not lifting a finger for you in this election. It's been a long time. Yeah. I said, don't worry, I'll just work a little harder. Don't worry about it. But I have a daughter that will work hard for me, and
Sure.
and she knows a lot about what was going on in the school system, especially, she won't say it, but I will, special education. Major issues with special ed, especially at the high
absolutely.
school. At the high school, it's really major, to me, violations, safety violations. Put all the special kids up on the 3rd floor of the high school, in the new high school, and the elevators aren't working here and there.
Right,
A lot of emergency stuff, It's just, we'll talk about that. Plenty of time to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we'll see
Like
what
I
happens.
said, we have 4th of July coming up in 2 weeks, and there's like almost a lull until Labor Day. But yeah, because everybody goes away in the summer, just takes the summer off. But yeah, it's when is the primary? Do you know what primary day is?
September 9th.
Oh, okay, all right.
Do you see what's coming here Friday? I guess we're gonna be like Arizona.
Yeah,
They're
Friday,
talking
Thursday and
hundreds.
Friday, Thursday
Yeah,
and
but they're
Friday.
talking
Yeah.
hundreds next week. I
Yeah.
don't like that weather.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. So I might have to go down to Salisbury State Beach now and get my, someone told me I can get in there for nothing, because I'm a veteran.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
give
know
them $10 and they give you a pass for the whole summer. It's a great
I didn't know
place.
that. I didn't know that.
That's what I'm hearing, so I'm gonna go up to that booth and show them my, my military.
What's the regular charge, do you know? If say
$10
just a
last
regular
time. It
person,
might have
okay.
went up, but it was 10. But what the attraction is, if you go fishing, and I love to fish down there looking for stripers, you can take a hot shower. That's what I love about Salisbury State
Okay,
Beach.
yeah.
And then you got a good parking spot for the day, and you can always walk to Salisbury down the coast, State Beach. One time, Tom, you remember, I used to be a zoo.
Oh, yeah.
Then
yeah.
they straightened it out. The
Yep.
stadies go through with their horses and stuff,
Yep,
and it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
that's where I'll be probably next week, a few nights.
Good for you, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And how's your wife doing health-wise?
Doing
Good?
great, yeah.
Good?
Doing
Good,
great.
that's very good.
She
That's
is
good.
doing great.
Yeah,
She doesn't know why I want to do this, but there's nothing more important.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
All I think about is
Well,
those
you're very
other...
passionate about it.
Well, it's
Very,
just,
you know,
when you work with guys a couple of years, like Timmy Golden, I mentioned his name, topped the ticket for schools all the time. I called him the Prince of Paraprofessionals. And then you got Bill Topia, you work with a guy like that, and tells you, Bob, if we don't save these schools, we're in trouble. Because he was real estate. He knew how important the schools are, I loved working with Bill Topia. And then my favorite was George Harris.
Yeah.
And look at what they're going to do to him. Oh, well, try to do them. They took his name off.
Well, you got to make sure if you're elected, that sign goes back up.
Yeah, there's 2 signs they took down
Yeah, but they
on
should go
him.
back up. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure
I'll
they
be
will.
sad if-
I am sure they will not be that.
Oh, yeah.
If Skinner lets that happen, well,
Yeah.
who's the boss?
We'll
You know?
find out.
Yeah.
I know, I put the motion in to put him on top of the Irish Auditorium, his name
Yeah,
there.
that's what.
I didn't pick the spot, they picked
I
the
was- I
spot.
always see it there. Yeah.
Timmy Golden was the one that gave me a second to do that, but, there's the guy. Think of that guy. We all got to start speaking English. That was one of his big ones.
Yep.
We need neighborhood schools.
You'll never see a guy like him again.
Hey,
you know?
we need neighborhood schools because busing's going to choke us to death.
Yep.
It's choking us.
Yep.
Right? And he was big on discipline. He just great, 40-something years. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But there's a group of people that don't want his name around either. That's just how Lowell is. We hold a grudge. Politically. Is Drake any different, Tom?
As far as what?
Like friction?
Oh, yes.
Same thing,
I
just
watched
like-
a selectmen's meeting, and you can just already tell how, certain people, I mean, for the most part, I think we have a good board of selectmen. I mean, but you can tell, and again, Josh is like I told you, Eric, he says what he feels. He's not going to, and he does his homework. He does his homework at everything he does. We have some people, there's some people out there that aren't even elected of office. My good friend Clem Canola is a retired fireman. He went to the selectmen's meeting last week. They have like a public comment period before this. And he gave out some issues. It talked about some issues. I'm sure it's going to go to deaf ears. The only one that might follow up on it will be Josh. Here's another story. The town meeting. Let me tell you the whole story. A person hobbling into the town meeting on crutches, and she's going up to the front of. Clem said she keeps going. She's going. It was the town manager. She just had knee surgery, and they don't have a wheelchair in the auditorium for anybody that would need that to get into to their seats. So that was an example of. Let's see if something's done about it now. You know what I mean? So, and the town manager so far, she seems to be showing that she's got a lot of guts. She's people at town hall are very happy. She's a very friendly environment at town hall now. They just changed the hours at town hall to make it a little bit easier for people. Instead of opening up at 8:30, they're opening up at 8 because a lot of people go to work early. They like to get in there, get their bills paid or whatever, and they're closing at 4, instead of 4:30, they're closing at 4. So, and they're open until 5:30 on Tuesday nights. So it's she's made it employee friendly. The employees are very comfortable with her. So I'd like to see Tony or Josh get her on here, but that'd be their call, Yeah,
I think very important to me in this election, if you don't change your ways every now and then, you'll have a tough time. But I'm seeing more people of color coming out, which I like because that might ignite voters to come out, different voters.
Yeah.
And I've done very well, I think, in the Cambodian field, especially like with Dominic Lay, a good friend of mine, and one of my favorite, Cam K. Cam K tried to make me a Republican for years. He couldn't do it. I'm unenrolled. But I really liked Cam K. I worked for him when he ran for the schools, and he lost because he wanted to give money. He wanted to give a voucher to people that had their kids in a parochial school. I said, buddy, that's going to kill you. That issue will kill you. And he stuck by it. One of the best I seen for sticking by an issue that's going to kill you. I said the union will destroy you because of that issue. And there was a big vote. Remember at the time, vote no on something?
Right.
I forget. I think it was question 1.
Do you see any other candidates? Let's just say Connie Martin decides not to run. Do you think anybody else would run citywide?
You never know. That's the thing. You can pull your papers, in July 15th.
Well,
as long as you turn them in by
like
July
John's
22nd.
point makes a good point. You're not really an official candidate until those papers are certified.
Yeah. Well, John worked hard about getting someone to run from District 4, and there's someone
his
running.
nephew or whatever.
Well, it's not his nephew.
No relation.
No relation.
They're not related.
Yeah, he's coming. I think he's coming Friday.
Yeah, he's,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'd be better off coming.
Maybe Thursday. Thursday. He's coming Thursday.
Whoa, if he comes Thursday,
Oh,
then
you're gonna be
he's-
here.
Yeah, and I would have some. He won't answer my questions, though. You know, he works at the high school special ed.
Brand
He-
spanking new.
He won't answer the questions. All I'm saying is he works in special ed at the high school.
Well, he probably can't answer the
No,
questions.
he won't anyways, because they're afraid of retaliation.
That's what I said.
what
He
they-
can't-
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, he can't.
Read these two, Bobby.
yep, the deepest part of the swamp has a gold dome on it, Jay. Yeah, Bob is correct. Salisbury State Park is a great place for the old timers to hang out. But, yeah, but, yeah, they're not gonna say nothing. You have to find
But
outside
you
of
can't,
school.
it'd be like me coming in here and speaking, if I was working for the town and speaking about, against the town manager. He's not the poor guy, he's not gonna risk his job or risk his, but I just hope he puts on a good campaign against the candidate in District 4, and he kind of looks like an attractive candidate. He's got a good name. So,
Well,
and on a lighter note, can we forget, before we'll do it in the second part of the show, to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. McDonough on their 50 years of marriage over this
All
past
right,
weekend.
all right,
Thank you.
congratulations, yeah.
Where were you guys? What was the restaurant? My wife wanted to, where were you, was that a restaurant?
Cross Point, the tavern on the square.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's where we were.
Yeah, so 50 years, wow.
It's a
Wow.
long time.
I had the steak tips out of this world, delicious.
You've never had a bad meal there, right, you said?
No, I
Yeah.
never had a bad meal.
He never had a bad meal
They have a
anywhere.
gluten-free menu.
Where have you had a bad meal, John?
Oh, he's had a few places, yeah.
Oh, only
Did you go out-
one,
did you go last
there's
night?
one Chinese restaurant in Lowell that I won't go back to.
Okay, all right, so there is one, all right.
Did you go out last night?
No, we're going tonight
Oh.
because Rick, the guy he couldn't do last night, so he's doing tonight, and we're
Oh.
going to the Longhorn.
Oh, okay. That's always good,
Yeah,
yeah. So congratulations on your
Thank
50
you.
years.
Thank you.
Really. Yeah.
hoping for another 50.
Yeah, so it's, I like to say election time in Lowell, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hard work to do. And whoever works the hardest usually will win a seat. You gotta work hard,
Right,
you
right.
know? I'm just, like I said, I
We're
spent,
going to be coming up on break time pretty
Yeah.
soon. I just want to remind everybody, this is Thorndike Street. They are hot topping that where they had the water leak last week. So if you know somebody who's commuting into Lowell and trying to get to the train station, good luck. You can't get there. The only way you can get to the train station is you got to come from Chelmsford Street or Dutton Street or Fletcher Street. You
Really?
can't-
Oh, wow.
Well, because
Well, I gotta tell you, when I
they're not
pulled
letting
out-
anybody go inbound. Not letting
Yeah.
anybody go inbound. So
I didn't know what the heck was going on this morning when I came down. Finally, I said to the cops, I'm going to the funeral home. He said, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
But see, this week, Rogers School's closed. This is the first day
Yes.
you can sell streets two ways all day. So if
Oh,
you're
that's good when I
stuck in
leave here.
traffic,
Good.
come down Highland, take a left on South, get down to Summer, take another left.
School ended yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All schools, yeah.
I would get out,
grandkids,
I'd go all the way down to Appleton, take a left on Appleton and go
Yeah.
to the train station that way. So now they're starting to let some traffic go north.
Is this gonna be a 2-day job, John, do you
No,
know?
it'll be done today.
Okay, yeah.
The cops put out a notice that was just for today, so
Hmm.
we'll see. But, ain't no anybody inbound, good luck getting to the train station. Because that's been shut off for a while. They just let that go.
you know, Tom, when you're the son of a 40-year cab driver, and I did about 15 years with A&L Taxi and Town Taxi, because I was a roofer, and if it rained out, I'd go make a day's pay somewhere, you know, I used that as my second job.
Sure.
Even when I was a prison guard, I still drove here and there. But the roads are crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you were Ubering for a while, too.
oh
right?
yeah, I did Uber in Boston, that's where you gotta go. You
Yeah.
can make, Cambridge and Boston, you'll average, not clear, about $50 an hour.
Wow,
In Lowell, you'd average about $15 an hour.
okay.
So if you're not in Cambridge or Boston, you're not making money. And then if you are in those two cities, you want to talk about craziness. You know, like all these motorcycles now and the scooters on the streets, you see them 60 deep. I've run into that so many times in Dorchester and Roxbury and Hyde Park, it would scare you.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
you need to do is pull over and let them have fun.
Yeah,
Don't play with it at all.
But
Matter of
somebody's gonna
fact,
get killed sometime.
I stop in the middle of the street. I'll stop wherever I am and don't move. Let them go all blow by you, and you'll be okay.
But these kids on the bicycles, somebody's gonna
Ooh,
get killed.
yeah, it's gonna
Somebody's
happen.
gonna get killed, and
It's gonna
it's a
happen.
matter of time. I
Yeah.
mean, and when it does happen, the poor guy that hits him is gonna be responsible for it. It's not, it's just a shame.
Well, Lowell's a little bit ahead of the plan.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Again, Eric Gitche is working on a lot of that craziness.
Yep,
So keep up the good work,
Yeah.
Eric.
yeah. So,
And we have Artie Santos coming
Yep,
in with
and Karen Cassella.
I see that. That's
Well, Karen confirmed, I don't have Artie's cell phone number, so I could send him a reminder, so.
right.
Karen's coming. I told her no treats.
I
was-
get screwed because of you guys, with no
Yeah,
treats from
well,
Karen.
I didn't say no treats because they're pineapple.
Well, I told her the last time, I said, listen, don't listen to these two guys. I said, I'm good. I said, I'll just put them over here.
What was that? The lemon blueberry cookie
Oh,
she made?
yep,
Oh,
yep.
that thing was.
And she also said she makes a good spinach pie, which I haven't. I asked her to make me one day, and maybe she'll remember this time. But yeah,
But there you go. I went by her house Saturday, okay? And I know everybody's sitting around for Father's Day, you know, the next day they're getting ready.
yeah,
She's at the pool with her two new grandchildren, and she has two cops, her husband and her son there
yeah.
in there, so that everybody's nice and safe, but really nice family type time, you know? And when you visit a lot of houses, you see there's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of people hurting
right.
in the
right.
city. I can't believe it. I know I'd be hurting if I didn't still try to make a buck, but it's a poor city. Someone else has been saying that this is a poor city. It is. There's a lot of poor people in the city. So we'll see what happens,
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
I hope for change, though. We need new people. We need some change. Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like it's happening maybe in the schools, too. You're going to get change. You know,
You
when
think
get,
some of these incumbents on the council are in trouble?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple in, to me,
Yeah.
I think John Dakota's in a race.
Mm.
That I would say work, you better work.
Yep.
And I would say Paul at the M could be in trouble.
No, he's got.
Okay, we're just all giving our opinions here. I just think you gotta
Now,
watch
the
out.
person that's running against Dakota's a former police officer?
Yep.
Okay. He was on here
But-
last week, did somebody say?
Yeah, we had him not too long ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Did a good job first time on TV. But John's not a fool. He knows he's in a race, you know? They're all, if you get competition, you're in a race.
Right.
And I'm telling you, the people outside of government are not happy. They're not happy with things on the city side. And me, I'm not that happy with the city side of things. I'm happy with the schools. I don't know how many times I have to talk about Dan Rourke promoting Liam Skinner, but it's the biggest thing I've seen in my lifetime. We normally get rid of every superintendent. Why take someone that we know that did a great job for us over 20-something years? Finally, there's a
Yeah.
career ladder in the city. And I thought
But
it was,
will he last?
I think he's going to last, especially.
I hope he does. I
Well,
never met the man, but I hear nothing but good things about him.
I'm not afraid to sit here and say I'm a sure vote for him,
Yeah,
you know,
but
so.
we've seen how things happen.
Yeah.
We've seen some superintendents come and go that it was horrible, as you said, you know. and,
Bobby, read these three, then we're gonna go to break.
You got it. Tom, you're going to have to be there on Fridays when the donuts are flowing. Respectfully, a good amount of people also have a spending problem. Jay, congratulations, Mr. McDonald. Yeah, Mr. McDonald. Mr. McDonough on 50 years of marriage. How can it be that long? You two lovebirds must have been 15 at the time. But,
Doggone close.
yeah, well, October.
We'll be back. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, just so you know, we're chowing down here for a few minutes, resetting the table, so we'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Thanks for your patience.
Sit up straight.
Sit up straight, everyone.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June 17th edition of City Life. We've got about 2 weeks to go to the 4th of July. I can't believe that half the year's almost over. With us this morning is my friend, school committee candidate Bob Hoey. Artie Santos, you're the assistant registrar of deeds?
Yes,
Be your title?
assistant,
And
yes.
the registrar of deeds, Madam Cassella. She's
Good
welcome to
morning.
the show. And how's everything going, guys?
Very good, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's going to
Yes.
warm. It's warming up. I mean, it's not today, but I guess the rest of the week, Bob said it's going to really get
It's
hot.
gonna get
Hot
real
and
hot.
humid. We need it.
Yeah.
There's been too much rain. The
Yeah.
weather's been too cold.
Bobby, you said you had to leave at 7.
7:30.
You want to talk about anything before we get to
No,
Karen and
I
Artie?
just, like I said, I went out getting 50 signatures the other day, putting about 20 signs up. Signs I do slowly, but the signatures, you want to get them done before the end of June, so you're not sorting them. You got to have them in by July 22nd. But all I've been doing is visiting the houses that have supported me 4 times in the past to see how many of those I lost. I only lost one. He did give me 2 signatures, but I didn't get a sign again because I was a trumper. For some reason, he didn't like me for that reason. So you lose 1 out of 50. I'm not feeling bad, you know. I'm feeling pretty good about myself because I told him, I said, hey, you know what? This is local politics here. The schools are too important. And the first question I'd ask today is, how you like your new job there, Artie? Because we miss you in the school department.
No, it is fantastic. I mean, I had a good run in Lowell and in Chelmsford, but this was a great opportunity that I couldn't pass up, you know. As much as I miss everybody, this is great. It really fits my skill set perfectly between my lawyer side as well as the technology side.
And you didn't use no politician to get that job? You sure they didn't go banging on her door to hire you? I'm so glad. No, really, I am so glad for you, Cameron, for picking this gentleman right here. 'Cause everything you need, the computers, he's a lawyer, almost everything you need, you got in one package, and I'm
Right.
really
Oh,
happy
no,
for you.
absolutely.
So that's all I got to say.
And you hired,
I-
you were qualified for the job, and you hired somebody qualified to be your assistant, which is great. And I mean, that's, you know, and Bob's right, you see, you know, I mean, the names that were going around with the other candidates who was going to be their assistant was, again, politics, and it was
Right,
just,
right.
but yeah, you did good. You did good with this gentleman, I think. So
And I was
yeah.
honored
Yeah.
to accept the appointment.
Yeah.
Right? No,
Anything new
Artie's
going on
been a
down
good
there?
asset
And it's gonna
over
put it
there.
out there, Thorndike Street, completely open,
Oh,
completely
great.
open now, so everything's back to normal. I guess they're gonna put the finish coat on another time, but, they're done hot topping for now. Project's inbound, it's all set. Thanks, back to you
Great,
guys.
great. So anything new and exciting down at the Registry of Deeds? I mean, you come up with something new every time you come on the
Right.
show.
No, we're just working on, so we do a lot of e-files. A lot of the work that we do now is through the computers, the e-files electronically. So Artie's been really working hard with Simplifile, to make it easier for the customers using it, the attorneys that use our, you know, the software to record. So we've been just doing that, trying to make some changes. You know, we have certain times that they'll try to send something over, we have to refuse it because we only can take it through the mail because it might be a multiple fee document. So he's been working with them for that, so.
Yeah, we did a test run and it went pretty well. We have one little glitch to fix, and I think we'll be able to get it fixed hopefully by the end of today. Because like Kieran said, unfortunately, we had to reject a lot of documents because of multiple fees on certain things, but we think we've got that just about ironed out, which is a huge plus for those submitters, electronic submitters, whether they
Right.
be title companies or attorneys.
Great.
Yeah, so that's good. And then we're, you know, starting to make appointments to go out to the different towns and talk to them about actually purchasing the software for Simplifile so they don't have to have the residents coming to our office
Oh, they
to
can do it like
record.
at
They'll
the
be able
assessor's
to do it
office or
for,
something, or-
exactly.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
That's what
when
we
they
wanna
get the
do.
permit, they can still, you know, the fee is always going to be the homeowner's expense.
Right.
But they don't have to take the time to go to Lowell, you know, find the parking spot, come in and record it. So now,
And even
hopefully.
pay for the parking.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just, it's a hassle. So we're trying to help them out as well throughout the surrounding towns in the city.
That'd be probably a great program. For,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I mean, you have conservation, right? You have the, all your
Planning
permits,
departments.
tax takings. There's so many documents coming right out of those buildings that it would just be, it's something well worth the
You
money.
say you started, have you been out to any town, you been to Drake yet or anything? or-
Drake, it's been over, yeah.
They actually
They were
reached
the
out,
first
they reached out to
one.
us.
Karen, yeah, Karen Golden.
Yeah, she-
Imagine.
Yeah. So, now, did you talk about one of the last shows you were on about you were going to be hiring some interns this summer? Or were you thinking
Yeah.
about hiring? Is that
We
working?
do,
You're doing
yeah.
it? Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great.
We have 4.
Yeah.
They're doing well, yeah. They're, we have,
Can you move your mic so it's a little closer to your chin? Don't look at Tommy. Look at Tommy on the monitor.
hi, Tommy. So, yeah, they've been doing a lot of projects that we have in the new building because we have limited space. So they're organizing a lot of the plans and the original registered land documents, putting them into these bins, just a lot of stuff that we just haven't had time to get to. So, and they're working on a street indexing project, so it's been working well.
Are these
They're
college kids, high school kids, or just?
college kids.
Great, great, great.
Some are juniors in college, so one of them just graduated.
Great.
So, yeah,
Great. And they're a big
They'll
help to
be
you,
a-
I'm sure.
Really good, great workers.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're very impressed.
You know, I was a state worker, and the issue that I always remember, we were always understaffed. People don't believe that, though, when you say understaffed. They think we have too much staff. I think you're understaffed.
oh, we're understaffed. There's no doubt. I mean, I think what people look at is because we're not as busy as we used to be, that we don't need employees. But the employees that we do have, they have 30 years plus. They have a lot of time built on the books. It's hard to,
Coverage.
cover shifts.
They all want to be off in
cover lu-
July.
Yeah, we're in a
Exactly.
tough season. Right now, this is gonna be really tough for us.
And they're going to be retiring soon. So, we have so many years to start getting new employees in to train them, because this isn't something you're going to learn overnight. So,
And it's
Do
a
you-
shame, because my wife worked down at the probation department down there, and they were overstaffed. She says they didn't need some of the people they had in there. It's just a
Right.
shame they don't spread the wealth for people, a department that needs the help, because she said, we don't need this person. We have 2 people doing that job, and it's like,
Right.
it's just a shame that you can't get the help.
Yeah, a
You
lot of
can't.
people don't know what our office even is.
Yeah,
They always
yeah.
get us confused with the Registry of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't put that.
No, but they do, but they were overlooked, I kind of feel,
Yeah, yeah. So,
I know. So hopefully, yeah, we'll be working on that probably in the fall now, because summer's here.
now,
It's
is this
just
the
too
same-
hard to train.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but your fellow Register of Deeds, it's the same thing? Are they understaffed throughout the state, or throughout the Middlesex County? or the
A
other-
few of them are. I've spoke to a few. They are planning on hiring as well in the fall, but like she, we was talking and she said, you can't really start hiring and training in the summer. There's not enough staff in the building to train people for this type of job. So,
And your budget's under the Secretary of State's office,
Yes.
right?
It is, that's correct.
yeah.
So-
So last Friday, we just had an Employee Appreciation Day. It's our first time we ever were invited, because I had reached out to Judge Rodriguez about letting us join them, because we were the only office in the building that never got the invite. So she let us participate and get involved with it, and the
I heard about that.
employees,
Yeah.
they appreciate it. They
Yeah.
really did. It was a
All
fun day.
I'd want is your lemon blueberry cookies. That's
Oh, yeah, by the
That's
way,
it.
don't listen to these guys. I am okay. I can eat those goodies.
I
See,
know.
They said no good. These
Even-
two guys are.
It's on the reminder. No
It's
sweets.
a
Oh,
no
no.
treats or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
You could go through a drive-through once in a while.
You know, getting back to
I stopped
the,
bringing donuts here, because these guys don't eat them, so.
when Artie mentioned that people don't know the Registry of Deeds, I kind of believe that, but the Registry of Motor Vehicles, when you mentioned that, that falls under the DOT, and it could be the second biggest moneymaker. That's why they bring in a lot of money, the DOT, just through the registry alone. Think about how much money is going through that
Right.
department.
Right.
So when you're bringing in money, a lot of money, you can get away with a lot of extra jobs, you know? Do you
Right.
guys bring in a
Tons
lot?
of money through the state excise tax stamp, which is huge. $4.56 per thousand
Yeah,
Wow.
on a property. So, you know, we, even in these slow times, we're bringing in a decent amount of
Right.
money. So even the
Well,
heyday,
they should respect that a
bundles
little
of money
bit.
we're bringing in.
right. Oh, no, definitely.
Those tax stamps, you know, that's hefty. $4.56 per thousand.
Wow. Wow.
It's always a cost, right? But that's good to know that you guys do bring in money, so.
Yeah, we
you-
do.
You profit, you know what I mean? You're making
Right.
the state money.
We are.
So maybe Ed Kennedy is listening again, a friend of mine. Ed, get them one or two people to work there. You can do it, buddy. You can do it.
I know, so we're also in the fall, we'll plan on going out and doing some homestead seminars, because I talked about that when I was running, and I do want to get into the senior centers to make sure that everyone is covered and they have their homestead. So that will be something we will be doing in the fall.
You know what I've been seeing a lot of scams on? It's, I owe the registry money, send your money
I
here.
Did you
know.
get that? I got a text the other day that I
Yeah.
owed some tickets.
I
Yeah.
bet
We all
you,
got those, yeah.
with titles of homes and stuff, you must
Oh, yeah.
have some scams.
Yeah, they call it title pirates, is what
Yeah,
they're calling it now.
okay.
Yeah. We got 2 calls on a piece of property not very far from this building. I got the first call, and I took notes on it because I had a funny feeling that something might come of this. Sure enough, Karen received another call from an attorney now representing that individual on the same piece of property. She came into the office and said, "Hey, Art, what about this property on Westford Street?" I go, "That sounds very familiar. Let me look at my notes." And sure enough, it was the same individual. They're showing up at the property because it's listed on some certain sites that it's vacant land available. And they just enter the property, and the homeowner owns the building beside the vacant lot. So they keep coming out wondering why people are approaching them and on their land. Come to find out that it's listed somewhere. Not in like MLS or anything like that, but these other sites.
Right. So he was asking, if we could just flag it, and there's really, I let the office know, keep this address in mind if you see something coming through. But it's really, there's nothing we can't put anything into the computer, but it was something I shared with the office, and they have it on their sticky notes, so in case they see
The property.
that, address coming through.
And I had the
With the deed.
individual sign up for that consumer notification system. The only downfall of that is that occurs after something's already been placed on record. But at least they could hire an attorney hopefully quickly and, start challenging that.
Yeah, I feel like the stealing of the property, it's mainly lots of
Yeah,
land.
vacant land is
Right.
much
So-
easier.
It seems to be that.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as people think it is. Like, those commercials that you're seeing, it's great advertising, but it really doesn't happen that easily.
As far as the scams, you mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There's more to it than
Well,
just.
I'll always tell the story. It was well over 30 years ago, and it was our former town manager out in Drake. And he was sitting in his office one day, and this lawyer walks in with the house was sold to him, but the ex-wife had pretended that the person was with her was his
The spouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the other person,
yeah.
but he got out. It was settled, but it was just one of those things that he couldn't believe it when they walked in the office. And said, "Yeah, you don't own that house right now. Somebody scammed you, But you didn't hear it back. This was in the '90s,
Right.
And late, well, probably late '80s, because he came to work for the town, and I heard that was one of the reasons why every time you go to a passing, you show your driver's license and make sure that they
Right,
it's
they
just
take
a
a
husband
copy,
license,
right.
Always,
They
yes.
should.
Make a copy
Yeah.
of the licenses. You have to.
Well, that was an idea too of when recording deeds, if they were to show a copy of those licenses, that might help. But
Yeah.
where everyone, the state with all the registries, we're still working on ideas and to stop all this, fraudulent deeds and transfers. So
No, there's two. There's a southern register of deeds and a northern, right?
Right,
Now,
yes.
Is the southern person been around a while, or he must heard newer?
Maria
She's
Curtatone.
been out.
So I want to say this, is it our second term? Our third term?
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys work together, that's probably the point. You guys all have, like, work together at all, or have meetings or anything along that
No,
line?
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, monthly meetings. We have register meetings. So
Yeah.
every month or 2 months, we get together and we talk about different things that are going on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different laws that might change and could change
Sure.
things the way we record or
Yeah,
the
we just
office
reach out
runs.
anyway, just to, pass ideas across to each other.
Now, the big boss is Galvin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you guys see him? Does he ever come in? Does he ever, you have any contact with him, or is there any need to have contact with him, or is it,
No, we basically deal with the director.
Okay.
Down at the
Nice.
Secretary of State
okay,
and a few other people.
yeah. 'Cause he's been around a while.
He
Down
has,
in the West.
yes.
Yeah.
That's for sure, yeah.
What I love.
Bob, you're awful quiet over there.
Well,
And that's unusual.
I wasn't quiet in the first hour.
I know you
that's
weren't, you
for
weren't,
sure.
yeah.
But what I do when I see Karen anyways, first thing I think of is how little she paid per vote. It was incredible. I remember
Very
Eric
frugal.
Gitcher he sent something out there anyways, but he showed how much Reddy and Charles
yeah,
spent.
yeah.
And then she spent it was really small amount of money per vote. But I worked for her in 2 different campaigns, and the second one, I just think her knowledge and having that 30-something years experience, that just took over. That took over. You know?
Finally, the voters listened to put somebody with experience in there, not somebody that, was a politician,
Right,
And-
exactly.
And you never were involved in politics, I'm sure. I don't know if you
Yeah,
were or not, but, politics, although your great-great-great-great-grandfather was a
Right,
mayor,
right.
You know,
right.
you know, Tom, it's not like being a part of 429, that union, a prison union that got 5,000 members.
Yeah.
They have under 20 staff, maybe only 10 staff, so they don't have any union power whatsoever. And I was
Right.
trying to say that during her first campaign, but it went on deaf ears. But they needed help. They needed help, and I think that's what happened to people seeing it. A lot of people did help you. There was a lot of people against you. More people were against you than for you. But the
Right.
ones that were for you, like John McDonough and Eric Gitcher and a bunch of other people, they were always talking about your experience.
That's what it was.
Experience. Yeah, that's
Right,
what I
right.
think now.
Yeah,
Look
I
at-
was hearing even before, she reached out to me, is her experience.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's all I have to say, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm leaving in a few minutes.
No, I know.
When I sit next to Artie, all I think of, honest, is Herky. Well, Herky was a great cop in my eyes. He
was.
was the best. He treated me like a king, taught me about right from wrong. He was everything. He was quite the character, your
Yep.
father, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and we had some good ones. And then I went to Karen's house the other day for some signatures, and her husband, Jimmy, another cop, he was buried with his little son and daughter?
Grandson, yeah.
Grandson. Wouldn't even leave there. I don't think he said hi to me. He was right in there. It was awesome. But your boy too is a great kid. Great kid.
Yeah, he's a good,
Matt's
he is a
great.
good, he's,
and I know as a mother you're always scared. I know you are. You have to
Right.
be. Maybe not in the courthouse. You're probably really feeling safe because Jimmy's there. But I'm talking on the streets.
Oh, no,
People think,
definitely.
it's not an easy job.
I listen to a scanner most of the time at night.
Is he on
and
late nights, or is he on
So
early
his
nights?
shift, it fluctuates.
Okay.
He's, sometimes days, but no overnights, but it could be like a later night.
Right,
but,
right.
But it's scary to listen to that scanner and
Oh, I have one.
knowing
all
your
the
son's
time.
there
You
and
hear
he's
the
going to
stuff
be
he-
reporting.
You hear the stuff that comes out, and man, oh man.
You know, it's funny too when you have a spouse that might make more than you. That's always good. My cousin Tom Hoey, his wife's Amy Hoey at Lower General. She makes like 1.4 million. She should be making 2.4 million like other people make over at that nonprofit hospital. But I call him Lucky now. His nickname is Lucky. His wife makes 1.4. I say,
Wow.
oh, you got to be kidding me.
You should get a good campaign donation from that relative, Bob, right?
Yeah, that's no, I don't think she
Finance
likes me.
the campaign.
She probably doesn't like me talking about it, but John McDonough used to bring that up all the time about the nonprofit Lower General, and all of a sudden the
It
last
is
name
amazing the money
Hoey's
they
in there.
make. It is amazing the money they make. Oh, God.
And the doctor that I have for colonoscopies of all things, I can't say his name well, it's Whitekel, tremendous guy. He said to me, I was in his office, he sees the name Hoey. you related to Amy Hoey? I goes, she's married to my cousin. He goes, you know what I like about her? She started as a candy striper, became an LPN, then an RN, then a charge nurse, moved into management, and now she's making that kind of money. And I said to him, when you see her, tell her she even did a roof with me. She was up on
Wow.
the roof putting shingles on with me. Amy Hoey did, yeah, to my Aunt Bob Hoey's, Red Hoey's wife's house. But she's quite the gal
That's awesome.
herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jimmy
Quite a
must,
story.
but you know, after you do 2 terms, right?
Yeah.
That's 12 years. You still got alfrescas. You know?
Exactly.
And-
Oh, yeah.
And if you,
And
if
then we move
alfres-
Artie right into the experience, right? We're 12 years from now.
I don't know, my wife's waiting for me to retire. She retired after 40 years from the registry, so
Wow.
she's waiting for me.
Right?
Yeah, mine
Nothing like retirement, you know?
I know. I always said, though, I don't know, I'm never going to retire in full.
You hear people say that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think-
I've had people say to me, when I retired 10 years next month, well, you're going to go nuts, Tom. You're too young. I haven't had a boring day in 10 years. I have not had I said to myself, I'm going to take one day a week and just do nothing. Hasn't happened. There was always something going on with the
Right.
grandkids. I used to drive Brenda back and forth to work, so that would keep my day busy, picking the grandkids up at school. There's always something going on. You know, I'm involved with the church. It's this show, you know.
Tell me,
so
there's a
it's-
guy by the name of Joel Deputat, okay? He used to own the Tewksbury Funeral Home, one of my good friends. Lives down in Florida now. I get down and visit him. He says, John, yesterday I did the best I possibly could to do nothing all day. I couldn't finish. So today I'm going to try harder to do nothing.
No, I know, everyone does say that.
Yeah, everybody's
but
different, you know?
I like to be busy.
Yeah.
And, you
So
know,
do I.
always find different projects around the house if it's a weekend or something.
You know,
So-
I
Now,
always
when
said,
can Jimmy retire? Does he have?
Like 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, most people go for the 80%, obviously, the 32 years with the
Yeah.
age, 55. But when they came out with a retirement bill for a prison guard, 20 years, you get 50%, you're insured the rest of your life. Go in at 19, you leave at 39 years old, and you got what I call the ego has landed. Every month you get a check in the mailbox. It's a pretty good benefit. And I actually think teachers, some of them could use an early out, and policemen. I got out with 20, I couldn't do 32.
You know, it's tough
I
to
just-
be a teacher. I was in the classroom, and then I was an administrator, so I can see the burnout from some of the teachers. It's a really tough job.
Oh,
Right.
it is, and that's why every time I run for school committee, I tell people, teachers is not an easy job.
Not like it used to be, I'm sure. Gee, it was
Right.
Well,
way
it
back
was,
when
at
we were
one time, it was
kids.
a pretty easy job.
Yeah.
To control me,
Yeah.
all they needed was a pointer. I didn't like it on the back of the hand, to be honest with you. I could take it on this side of the hand, but one teacher I'll never forget, I won't say his name, but boy, did he know how to put discipline in you. You
Yeah.
know? And we got a person now running our 29 schools. She's in charge of the principals. Liam used to be, now he's the superintendent. He put this girl in charge, and I'm telling you, she's the equivalent of George Bossy as a person in charge of our principals. So those principals have to be walking on eggshells. You're doing your job, and that's what I like, accountability. They're in
Right.
charge of their money, finally, a principal. With a school site council, people forget that. We gave the power to the principal with school site councils to run their budgets. What's the school committee do? Put a bunch of it in suspense account. Things that the principals were saying, this is what I need. I thought that's what we were doing this for. And all of a sudden, lo, we don't do it. We're not doing it. They made a few major mistakes to me in the past couple of years on that issue alone.
Yeah.
Let the principal, like, I'll give you just one example. Let's say a principal is having a hard time with a certain custodian, okay? He can't get rid of him. He's got to keep him. So he's not in charge of his school. That's the way I feel about that issue. You know, he should be in charge. If he's in charge, he should be able to even pick his own custodians. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're not doing it the way we should. Bring it 100% around, and I hope that's what happens in the next few years. Because we just did this. I don't know, I forget how many years we did it, Artie, but I'd say about maybe 4 or 5 years ago that happened.
Right.
So, we'll see.
Well, they would have to, couldn't they transfer that custodian to a different school or?
Yeah, I think they
There's
could
also
do it.
they're in unions too.
I know, and that's
Yeah,
the, right,
yeah.
You know,
exactly. Well,
it
that's why
is
they
tough
can't get rid of
issues.
them.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah,
But, Well, sometimes, yeah, and that,
I mean, there's good and bad with it, with
Yeah.
unions, right? Let's face it, you need it to protect the employees oftentimes, but then sometimes it can go the other way.
But you know how it is, if, let's say you have a rental apartment, you have one bad tenant, that can ruin the whole house.
right.
That one bad tenant, so it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same thing with just the custodian. I'm just using that as an example. You know, it could be a cook help, it could be anybody, but principal should have total power over his school. That's how I felt when I worked in the prison, superintendent. My boss, whatever he told me to do, I'd do it. You know,
I mean, the
then-
only way you probably can get rid of people is you have to document, everything has to be documented. To show
Yeah.
a pattern that you've asked them to do X, Y, and Z, and if they haven't done it, then you have more of a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
It
though.
does,
You're
it
right,
does,
you're
you have
right.
to document it. It's
Yeah,
what you need to do.
Bobby, when you go, I'm gonna do the announcements.
okay, so I'm gonna go right now. Nice seeing you,
All right,
Artie.
Bob, great seeing
Cameron,
you
keep
too.
up the
Take
good
care.
work.
Bobby, I'll see you soon.
Thomas, take care, my friend.
So,
See you
this will
soon.
take me
I'll
just a
see you
couple of
soon.
minutes, I'm gonna shut your mics off. They can only hear my mic. If you talk really loud, they can hear you. If you want an announcement, just send a text to my phone. And we'll put it out there for you. Today, it being Friday, no, it's not Friday, but every week, every Friday from now until October, 2 to 6 p.m. over at 350A Dutton Street, they're gonna have a Lowell Farmers Market. Fresh vegetables, so we'll talk more about this on Friday, but consider it, going over there on Friday. Today is the 17th of June, which means they're going to have chicken supreme with rice. That's what they're going to have over at the Lowell Senior Center. So if you're 60 years or older, pop over there. $2 is all it costs to eat, and have a yummy lunch. If you don't have the $2, well, we'll let you eat for free. Over at the Chensford Senior Center today, they're having chicken salad with chickpeas, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, and mixed fruit. So that's at the Chensford Senior Center. Same idea, just head over there around 11-ish. Get yourself a nice lunch. Today's the last day of school in Tewksbury. Most of the schools are clearing out, so just watch out for the kids. They'll be out there on their little bikes and their skateboards and having a great summer, so watch out for the kids. Francisco Maldonado, Cisco. He's having a signing party. Do minus one more time. Maybe too much there. Okay, so you're invited to Francisco Maldonado's A Voice for the Neighborhood, Lowell City Council District 8. The idea here is a signature party. So if you need signatures, you're running for office, bring your papers up to Mount Pleasant, hang out with Cisco, good guy, and get your papers signed. He's running for District 8 City Council. He's visited City Life, I think, once. Nice guy. So consider if you want to get some help getting your papers signed, that's the place to go. And as you probably already know, any registered voter in Lowell can sign your papers. Paul Rathiem, he's having a party this Thursday, Juneteenth, at the Lowell Firefighters Club at 5:30 to 8 p.m. Donations start at $20 and go up. If you want to call Paul, that's his cell phone number. What a lucky dog. Look at the cell phone number the guy gets. Pretty cool. And he's got a QR code in the lower right-hand corner if you want to get some more information about Paul Rathiem, Cadillac of a guy. Okay, Sidney Lang. He's running for District 7, minus this a little bit, District 7 in the Acre. And he's having a party June 20th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Club Past Temps, 317 Moody Street. Now, Sidney, he's a mover and shaker down at LTC. Nice man. Met him and his family. Nice people. So, moving right along here. Neighborhood meetings in Lowell. Today being June 17th, there's going to be a meeting for the Belvedere Neighborhood Association, but we don't know where it is. It's a secret location. And from what I can find out, sometimes they meet on Zoom. So maybe next month they'll have more information about this. And then back central, they're meeting June 19th, 7 p.m. at St. Anthony's Parish Hall. And then June 23rd, the Downtown Neighborhood Association, they meet at LTC. If you have a neighborhood group and you want to get announced, just be in touch with the Lowell Police and they'll be happy to put up your neighborhood meeting on their website. St. Valentine's, they're having a parish picnic coming up in August, so we'll be bragging about this all summer. And good time to look at the food. Shish kebab, lash kebab, chicken kebab, yummy, yummy stuff. So looking forward to that. Coming up this week, I'm going to minus this out a little bit. I got this yesterday. St. William's Parish out in Tewksbury. They're going to have a parish picnic this weekend, June 22nd, 11:30 to 3:30. You park at the church, and they have like a little path to this big place called the Oblate Residence, which is 486 Chandler Street. So the idea is they want you to park at the church and walk over for the picnic, and they're going to have all kinds of goodies there to eat for free. Free, favorite price, it's free. So it's parked behind St. William Church. There's a marked path leading to the Oblate Residence. So hope to see you over there. Hope they have a good weather day. That's my last one. Going over to you, Tom. Thanks for your patience.
The Armenian picnic, what is lash kebab? I've heard of shish kebab. You know what lash kebab is, John? You're a food expert. He's going to Google it.
I know.
I would be guessing, but I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's all those.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, like we were talking earlier, things are going good for you two people down at the Registry of Deeds. What is and everybody says, oh, what does the Registry of Deeds do? What is what?
Right.
People don't know much about it, like you said earlier.
Right.
What's the first thing you do when you walk in your office, say tomorrow morning, this morning? You have a pattern? You have a certain thing you do every day, both these, or is there a certain assignments you have? Or how does it work?
Well, I would say we just, go over all our emails.
Okay.
A lot of people are always emailing. They need copies of their deeds. They have questions. A lot of engineers need plans. So we go through all that in the morning.
And most of the people know your staff knows what to do. They're assigned certain things.
Well, they're doing, right. So once they get in, they're doing like the e-files, yes.
Do you get many visitors?
We've been getting
yeah.
more.
It's
Yeah,
starting to
definitely.
pick up now, yeah.
Yeah, there are days where it's real busy. I said, my
Yeah.
gosh, it's like a blue light special in here. But, yeah, we definitely are getting more customers coming in.
And do you get customers that, like, when they leave, they're unhappy? Like, you might have
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
tell them you need to get
peed
a
them
lawyer.
off. I'm trying to
So
say
you
it
need to get a
nice.
lawyer, because we cannot give out legal advice.
Okay.
So we have to be really careful with that. So oftentimes they're not really happy with that. When it comes to any types of liens in particular, mechanics liens, the statute is very specific on what you have to do. And they're not happy oftentimes when we explain to them that you really do need to get a lawyer. If they do it inaccurately, it's going to be challenged, and it's going to be no good, and they're wasting their time and money. So we're really helping them in the long run, but sometimes at first glance, they don't realize that.
Right.
So I'd say that's the hardest thing.
Well,
And they
do you offer a resource list of attorneys that are doing that stuff?
We do not. I think because we're not really supposed to dictate like who they go to and so forth,
What
but
I'm saying is just a resource.
No,
So
I do.
people-
I think it's a good
yeah.
idea to,
People will call me up and say, what florist do I go to? Well,
right. No, I
I
know.
know who does good stuff. Well, if I sent my wife flowers, I'm going to go to this florist.
Right.
sometimes they have attorneys, but they just don't want to go back there. Like I had someone come in and they just don't want to continue to spend money, they're saying to me, but I'm like, you really need to do that. It's just that specific, the law.
Well, I had one florist read me the riot act because I wasn't recommending her flower shop, and I just said, I'll put you on the list. It's just that easy.
Right.
That calmed her right down.
Yeah.
Now I say, okay, go to Kindly Sweetheart for flowers.
Right. No, I think it would be something we can look into about putting a list of all attorneys.
That'll shut them right
that-
up. We can't help you, but here's a resource list. Goodbye.
Right.
Right. And we also have, right within the courthouse, the lawyer, what do they call it exactly? The law center there. The law
Oh,
center
this-
right beside us.
Right. The law library
library
has,
has-
it's like a service for anyone without an attorney who
I was
wants
going
to.
to say, could you have like a lawyer of the day program, like the ones?
Yes,
they
I
have
would
some
love
courts,
to do that. They do
where
that-
It's free advice, but they could
Yeah.
volunteer. I don't know how it
Right.
works, but yeah, and have a lawyer there. Not saying every day, but maybe say they're going to be there every Wednesday. They'll have a lawyer there that
Right.
will
Yeah.
donate his time, or however it would work to get advice. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
But
so
they
they,
do have, they have
they
an attorney on
do.
staff right there.
No,
yeah, they do,
okay.
but
do.
they don't
Right
do,
outside
but
our
they
door.
won't do real
You gotta
estate
be careful with real estate, yeah.
Really?
right now.
They might do
So,
some like notarizations and stuff like that, but they're specific.
yeah, they do, it's more of like child support, all the court issues, divorces, help people fill out their forms. It's called court services.
Okay.
So, but they do, right now, they're not doing real estate. But it is something I would love to do, and even if we couldn't do it in the building, to have an estate attorney and myself go out to different senior centers.
Communities and.
Exactly, and do little seminars so that people can understand trusts, the revocable trust, the irrevocable. They don't have to, buy into it at that point, but to listen and to get some knowledge about it, I think it would be definitely a positive thing for both the registry and the attorney to be able to talk to people about it. So that's something we'll look into as well. I mean, to do it in the office would be great, but then I just get nervous for people to have to come down to the area and come in,
Yeah. Is that improved at all? Meaning the area with I haven't been down there for over almost a year with my wife. You're still seeing it's bad?
Yeah. It's not good.
'Cause I know when she was there, she'd be walking and seeing people sleeping in the back of the courthouse there.
Oh, they're in the garages too sometimes now.
Man. Awful.
It is. It's
awful.
Well, they did put a fence so that they can't get too
Around the
close
building.
to the courthouse.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did. They put a
Cool.
big- Yeah.
So that's been helping, but, I mean, it's everywhere, I guess, in the area right now, so.
Now, you said you have some retirements coming up?
Oh,
Will
boy,
those,
yeah.
but will those positions, they're not going to they're going to fill them, or they be a lot?
We
Yeah,
pray they're gonna fill
Yeah,
them.
yeah, no, we'll fill them. I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
I
So-
thought Haley had some freeze on. I don't know if that.
She does, because I know, like,
Certain positions, yeah. I think I read that there's a freeze on, but if a position was absolutely needed, that
Yeah.
there was exemptions to the
Right.
rule,
Except for me, I can hire my friends.
I think upstairs, about 5 people have left district court or are leaving within the next couple of weeks, so they're gonna.
District court?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So they're gonna be hired. They have to. They don't have enough staff
They're
now.
slammed, yeah.
Oh, they do. I'm telling you, it's I'm telling you, my wife worked, and she said, that people walking, maybe with 5 going, it's a bit different. She said, there'd be people, you'd be sitting there, they wouldn't have work for them. I mean, like I
Right,
say,
right.
at your place, you don't have enough help, it's just,
Right.
so.
But we don't always have either, like, we're not, we have other projects we can work on. It's getting that staff in so we can train them, because we do have, this coming year, we'll have 2 people retiring.
Right.
So to hire after they retire would be, it's not really a good
Ideal
situation,
situation, yeah,
right?
it's not
We will
ideal.
really
So
need
it's
to
not
get
one of
them.
these situations where you could hire a new person before that person retires to train them?
I'd like to train them right first.
Right.
Get them in and to understand how the document, most people don't really even understand mortgage assignment, order of conditions, certificate of compliance, they don't even know what they are. So to hire people off the street and to have them understand what these documents do to the property and how it affects everybody takes time, so.
Sure.
But we'll do that, hopefully. But yeah, the office has been it's been running well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a whole new ball game down there now. It's a whole new.
It is, and we're still working
There's a
on
new
getting
sheriff in
stuff.
town.
We're working still to get stuff out of the old courthouse, because we still have.
I can't believe this still. That's
Yeah.
5 years.
I
right?
saw a ton of
2020.
cars the other day, last
it's
week, I
just-
think, in there, and I thought, oh my gosh, is this they're already gonna move in there?
But I mean, are those documents safe? I mean, as far as like, say if there was a flood or if there was anything.
Right, we have looked in there. Oh, yeah,
wow.
that is like that old fieldstone basement.
Yeah.
It's so dirty down there.
Oh,
But,
Yeah, we took a tour.
so you're
Few
are you
times.
slowly but surely getting these
we had to
documents out
get
of there?
some, yeah, so we had to get cases so we could put them in, because we have nothing. The registry is so tiny right now, so we got some cases we're gonna get. It's mainly plans, plan books, plans, a few index books I saw there, which it could be a duplicate book, but one of our books is in pretty poor shape, and I said, I'd rather have a duplicate that's already created and made, it's sitting there, than have to, keep replacing pages, so. But, yeah, we have to do that soon, too. We already were told, because the sale, they might sell it to the city or whatnot.
Sure.
Well, Karen said it's also a space issue. The registry isn't that big. So that's the other thing, like finding places to put these books and so
Well, why
forth.
can't you scan them?
Yeah, but that's gonna take some time, as much as we have.
Time we have, lad. Yes, we
You
have
know.
time.
Well, they
It's
are.
the
they're-
money too, right?
So, John, there's, like, the plans, a lot of the plans, well, most of them, they're on our computer system. We have scanned them.
Yep.
But we had a situation where the scan was missing, somehow it wasn't there.
Yep.
We have these little aperture cards, and we have a machine we could put it on. That exact aperture card was gone.
It's like a negative, like, remember the old negatives we
Yeah.
had?
So I had to,
It's like,
when
yeah.
I went over to the courthouse, because this person needed this plan,
Yep.
I found the book over there, and the plan was in there. So had I not, if I don't grab that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're gonna rescan it, but it's just something we
Well, I'm not
have to
saying-
have.
I mean, certainly keep the original book, but scanning's just so much quicker and faster.
Right, oh no, we do, we
Computer
have a
search.
lot of stuff, right, on, these are plans that are scanned, but they're being held here, so we just have to,
Because when we look up old funerals, okay, I think we can look up all the centuries on the computer. Mm-hmm. Before this century, well, you know, it's in the garage, and it's gonna
Right.
take a few days. It is a few days. They have to go out to the building, it's not climate controlled, it's just dry. And
Right.
it's a PIA to go look up the old-fashioned way.
right.
Computers, bam, right there, done.
Right,
And we have some scans that aren't clear, they have been scanned, John, and we'll get a call, can I get a look at this plan? And all of a sudden you're looking at it, I'm like, wow, that is hard to read. So we don't realize until someone calls sometimes that we have a bad scan, so we have to rescan it.
well, yeah, the numbers, you know, the engineers need the corners of all different things.
I'm with you.
and- Yeah, so,
I'm with you.
but, and we're working on a nice AI project. Artie's been working great with
Yeah.
this company out west, and,
Before we run out of time today,
yes.
what should John and JQ Public do to protect their property? We hear these ads all the time on the media, whether it's, I don't care what you're looking at. Somebody's trying to steal your house right now, and they have somebody who gets right on there, yeah, they stole my house. Now I'm living in a tent now because they stole my house. You know, they tell you all these stories that I just don't think happen around here.
Right.
So, as John and Jane Q. Public are watching this, as the registrar, the assistant registrar of deeds, what suggestions would you give a new homeowner, an old timer like Tom Bomil over there? What suggestions should we take to protect our property?
I would say sign up for the consumer notification service that's on our website. If you go into massrods.com, MASSRODS for Mass. Rods is Registry of Deeds, that's what that stands for. So
I'll
massrods.com,
get that going.
okay? I'll wait till you get that loaded.
massrods.com, okay. Now put up on the screen here,
When you-
and there's good old Billy Galvin in the, did he buy another suit? It looks like he bought another suit. And one of the ads, he's on TV all the time, and boy, is he boring. I mean, he's nice guy, means well, but come on, buddy, you know, can we get a 30-year-old woman that's decent looking, that's dressed like to the nines? I mean, this picture is when he was like 40, okay, first of all, that's not him today. But at any rate, I hope he gets a new suit. Okay, so here we are at.
So now you want to click on Middlesex North,
Yeah, so one.
Middlesex
So
North.
so the public goes, it's Mass Rods.
That's
Yeah.
All
correct.
one word, massrods.com.
Yep.
So you
And
go
then
there.
there's your 21 registries underneath it, the link to each
Yep.
one of them, and the registry we are is Middlesex North.
Middlesex North, that's right up there. So that would include Tewksbury and Drake and all that stuff?
Yes, it
Okay.
does. 9 cities, 10
10.
cities, 10 cities and towns, excuse me.
Okay, so here we are. Oh, Karen's gonna, look at, Karen has a current picture.
So, John, if you scroll towards the bottom,
Yeah,
keep scrolling. You
I'm
gotta
gonna
keep-
close, it says right here, we don't sell our stuff. So I'm gonna close that little window. So scrolling down,
Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. It's gonna be in red and
is
white.
this his high school picture, do you think?
He's negative Galvin today, gee.
No, Just he should have a better representation of it. See, Karen's got, that's a
Yeah,
2025
below her, the
picture.
registrar's
Is that
message.
Karen's high school picture? I mean,
Yeah.
So scrolling all the way down.
Okay, protect your home. Yeah.
Okay.
Sign up for our newly released Consumer Notification Service, otherwise known as CNS.
That's the very bottom here.
If you scroll below, it says sign up for consumer notification right there. So if you click on that, you just now, it shows you the registries that are participating. Actually, that list has expanded. I think basically almost all the registries have it now. And you can scroll below, keep going, John, and say create a new account. So if you create a new account, it's going to ask you information, accept that, yep. It's going to ask you which registry selected from the drop-down menu,
So was it
Middlesex North.
North, Middlesex.
Anything that has a red asterisk beside it is a required field. So you'd have to put
If
your
it has a little
first name.
star, we have to do it.
That's exactly right.
Okay, cool.
So if you have first name, last name, email, create your own username, create your own password. I highly recommend you create your own password rather than a generated one. We've had issues where this site will generate one for you, but we've had errors with it. So create your own password and then type it again to confirm your password.
Yep, okay.
And then you just save and continue, and it will ask you information, a little bit more information.
Let's see what happens here.
Well, you didn't fill it out all, so it's not going to let you
Well, I
proceed.
already registered, I think, but
Yeah, that's
okay.
probably right, yeah.
So let's see what else is going to make me do it. I'll try this one. All right, this guy. Good enough, you think?
Well, we'll soon
Well,
find out.
Let's see, I don't know what this
It
password.
may not recognize, I mean, if you've already created an account, it might create an error. But it's pretty self-explanatory, and if you have any questions with it, feel free to call our office, which is 978-322-9000.
I'm going to put that in the screen in a second.
Okay.
So save and continue.
Continue, yeah.
And I think I previously registered, so now
It says
it's-
password does not match the required criteria,
Okay, so,
so, but.
at any rate, if I
any rate-
moved on further,
Yep. It will send you a notification if a document matches something that you've put in to
so it'll send
identify
me
your
an
property.
email or a text?
An email. Yep, it'll send you an email because it asks for your email address, that's why it asks for it.
Can you ask the guy with the 8th grade picture on top here? Right here? Actually, that looks more like college. That, could he text us? Because, I mean, if you're, I don't go on my computer all the time and check my email.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, you guys do, it's part of your job, but your
They would
personal
probably
email-
have to revamp the whole system in order to use text messaging.
They could just-
And you'd also have to obviously agree to the text messages and any fees that may apply. Yeah, it could be possible.
Add it.
Yep. I'll say John
Just
McDonough is
consent,
asking,
yeah.
please put in text
And
messaging.
tell them to get, yeah, I'm
Well, no,
happy.
we could bring that up
Yeah,
at
we
the
can.
next
We have the next
registrar's
meeting.
meeting. Yeah, it's
The next
coming
meeting
up.
we have coming up, we can mention that to them.
Oh, so I'm gonna put your phone number down page 2 here.
Yeah. So that's 978,
I gotta get there first. So
okay.
Turn, go around the block here, at the speed of government, I'll make this happen, okay. So 978,
How's my friend?
322
Nadine?
9000.
Good, she's doing well, yeah.
that's the business number.
True love story
Yep,
there.
that's the
Have
main
to go
line.
and register
Good.
deeds
I
office.
know.
Jack used to go down.
You
Jack
did.
used to
I
work together.
remember.
Jack was a
Thank
great
you.
guy. He is a
He
great
is a
guy.
You're
good
welcome.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
So that's the best thing to do to protect my property.
It
Right.
is, because that'll send you an email notification.
Super
Yeah.
duper, thank you.
and the homestead too, you should have on just to protect you from unsecured debt.
Can I
and-
go on the website and get a homestead thing, or do I have to talk to you guys?
No, it's on the website.
It
too.
is
There is a
on.
link, yep. There's a link on the
All right, well,
website.
we got a few minutes here, so what do we go, what's the website for that?
It's the same one, massrods.com.
Plural. Okay, go in there, and now we'll go to North Middlesex,
Yep,
Yep.
because that'd be us. And now, what do I do?
I can't
scroll
see-
it's not
down.
on the screen,
I
John,
can't
yeah.
see the screen,
Oh,
but
sorry.
I know,
Back up.
if you scroll, we saw it as we were,
I'm trying to remember off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
Okay.
so,
Oh, yeah, keep
scroll
scrolling.
down,
Quick information, is it right? Let
Keep
me see.
going.
Keep going.
Right there, homestead protection.
protections in the different
So it's in
languages.
English,
English,
Spanish, or
Spanish,
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Why not Camilla?
I've asked for
she's
Why
that.
not
asked
in
for some.
Polish? Why not?
Well, you know,
So-
Trump, I know we're not allowed to talk about Trump, but the official language of the United States is English now.
Right.
Yeah. And John, just so you know,
Sorry?
there's different types of homesteads too. If you look at the more towards the bottom, there's one for if the home is owned by a trust.
Right.
So you have to make sure you pick the right type of form, okay?
Okay.
The one before is for individuals above, or they call it what, natural persons.
So, yeah, okay, so, but I'm gonna click on English,
Yeah.
see what this guy comes up with here. And-
That's the booklet to explain to you about the Homestead Act. That is not the form. The form was below it, John.
Oh, I'll go back.
Yeah, so that just,
That explains
but that
it.
is, it's a something to,
It's
worth
really
reading.
informative,
So you
very
can
informative.
understand.
So John, the links above it, the blue link, underneath the languages, English, Spanish, Portuguese,
Yeah.
click right there, yep. That's for natural persons, right there.
So I can fill this
And
out?
it's fillable,
Yeah?
yeah, online, yep, you can
Online,
actually
I
type
can
right
fill
within
out.
it.
Does
Yep.
this expire? Once I set up for this, is it good forever? I got
Good
Good
forever.
Good forever.
It's $1 million coverage. It costs $35.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
Definitely should do it.
Wow.
And how can you tell if you already have one?
Yeah.
I
You
have
can-
some, I
well,
have,
you can
I have
call
what
us
I
up.
call sometimers.
Call us up and we can run your name,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
okay?
Good. Hey, great service, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Back to you guys.
All right.
You got 2 minutes.
Well,
Tom.
2 minutes, I did it the last hour. I want to light a moment. I want to congratulate Mr. McDonough and his wife on 50 years of marriage this past
Oh,
weekend.
congratulations.
So I did it the
Yay.
first hour.
Thank you very much, thank you.
And,
We had a lot of-
Congratulations.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. That's good. But every year I ask you how many years you've been married, you could never answer me. Now we know it's
Let me
50.
just, let me tell you, look, for all the guys out there that forget how long you've been married, here's the trick. When they say, how many years have you been married? And the answer is, not long enough.
There you go.
That's what my husband says
That's
all the
fun,
time.
right? Your wife's gonna love that. Oh.
Right?
Well, thanks you guys for coming
34
on.
years for
That's
me.
good.
Well, 25 for Brenda and I, just, that's
Yeah.
the second wife. But yeah, it's, so if you put my two together, I don't get 50, so go ahead.
Right?
So, yeah, well, thanks for coming on. I know you'll be back again. Remember, don't ignore those two about goodies. I can eat goodies. All right,
Bring the treats.
Next,
You said you told me to make a great spinach pie. I'll take
I
the spinach
do.
pie.
I make
She
a really
does.
good spinach
Brought it to
pie.
the office. I can vouch for that.
I'll have to text you the next time and have you come down.
Sure, absolutely.
Yep.
Pretty
I'll make,
certain.
I'll make what I'm doing. I'll be down. I love spinach pie.
I'm pretty certain I gained some weight since I come to the Registry of Deeds.
Hey, tomorrow we have Paul Rathiem, Ralph Hogan, Colin Loisdale, the town manager from Tingsboro, and Linda Bounds, the host. That's tomorrow, City Life. We're out of time. So
All
say goodbye.
right, see
kids.
us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All
Thank
right,
you,
have a
everyone.
good day.
Good day.
We'll see you tomorrow.